I hereby call to order the organizational meeting of the School Board of Indian River County at 5 p.m. on November 20th. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first order of business is to seat 3 new school board members. I would like to ask the Honorable Judge Victoria Griffin, Judge for the 19th Judicial Circuit, to the podium to give the oath of office to each new board member. After each new board member is sworn in, they can take their seat on the dais after a quick photo op with their family. Judge Griffin. The first board member to be seated representing District 1 will be Dr. Schiff.
All right, before I have you come up, I just wanted to say a few words. I don't know that they wanted me to say this, but I wanted to say a few words to you. First of all, I'm honored to be here, and I thank you very much for allowing me to be a part of such a special occasion. You all had different reasons for running for this election. You all made it, obviously, in case someone hasn't told you already. You should be very proud of your accomplishments. You've worked hard, and the future of Indian River County looks brighter because of your commitment to education. It is now your responsibility to give back to your community, and to do that, I believe that you need to reach during your decisions. I think you need to reach a balance of what is in the best interest of the children and the community as a whole. That is a difficult balance to meet. You will make people unhappy, as I do every day, but I mean, in the end, it needs to be the best interest of the children that need to be involved. In my position as a circuit judge of the 19th Judicial Circuit, I have the privilege of serving the families and youth of Indian River County. Part of my assignment is juvenile delinquency and juvenile dependency, which all of you, I'm sure, are aware that deals with a lot of family interactions, which you all are going to be doing as members of the school board. Like I said, that is my favorite part of my position. It's not always easy, it's treacherous at times, but there's so much fulfillment in making a positive impact on these children. And I challenge you to never lose sight of why you're here today. I never lose sight of what caused you to go through all of the pain and the hard work to get where you are today. It's very important, and just don't lose sight of the children. And the school board for which you now serve, well, you will in a few minutes, plays a pivotal role in the success of the children of Indian River County. Cherish it, never take it for granted, and my hope is that the experiences that you encounter will make it relevant, that there are rewards that are so worthy of your service, that make public service such a sought-after position. It's really nice. It's really a positive thing, and I'm so glad to be here tonight, so thank you. And always know that your efforts are always appreciated, okay? You may not be told that every day, but they are, okay? All right, Dr. Schiff, I will leave you first. Is that right? There's got to be a first, right? Okay, raise your right hand to be sworn in, please. And repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office
to hold office
under the Constitution of the state,
under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will
and that I will
well
well
and faithfully perform
and faithfully perform
the duties of School Board Member District 1,
the duties of School Board Member District 1,
on which I am now
on which I am now
about to enter,
about to enter,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Where? My hands are shaking. I believe you wanted to say a few words.
So I'll keep it brief. Maybe. But what I want you to know is that this office is not about me. It never was, it never will be. This office is about you, and I am grateful for the faith and the trust that you put in me, and what you can count on me for is my integrity, my humanity, my compassion, and my willingness to do this job to the best of my ability. So thank you for being here, and thank you for trusting me.
If you'd like to have your family come up, they can take a picture real quick.
And so I am not blessed with a lot of biological or legal family, but what I am blessed with is community and tribe. So I invite my community and my tribe because this job is not about me, it's not about my family, it's about you. Please come join me in this picture. Please come be here. This picture will land on my wall in my office to always remind me why I'm here.
Pretty big. Try.
This is my tribe, this is me. I'm here for it.
Okay, ready, everyone? 1, 2, 3. One, two, and 3. One more. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Up next, representing District 2, Mrs. Jackie Rosario.
Ready? All right, raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support,
that I will support,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and government of the United States
and government of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office
to hold office
under the Constitution
under the Constitution
of the state,
of the state,
and that I will
and that I will
well and faithfully
well and faithfully
perform the duties
perform the duties
of School Board Member District 2,
of School Board Member District 2,
on which I am now
on which I am now
about to enter.
about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
My tribe isn't as big as mine.
I want to get out of the way.
1, 2, 3.
And representing District 4, Ms. Terry Barenborg.
Congratulations. Are you ready? Yes. All right, raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support,
that I will support,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and government of the United States
and government of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office
to hold office
under the Constitution
under the Constitution
of the state,
of the state,
and that I will
and that I will,
well and faithfully
well and faithfully,
perform the duties
perform the duties
of School Board Member District 4,
of School Board Member District 4,
on which I am now
on which I am now
about to enter.
about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I have a long last name, so it takes a little while.
I know about your last.
I know you do. She dealt with two Barenborgs in one day.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'd just like to say thank you to our community for supporting me, and also thank you to all those people that were brave enough to run for office. As a first-time person running for office, it is quite an eye-opener, and I will say it takes a very, very brave person, but a passionate person, and I am very passionate about education, about improving our community. I'd like to say thank you to my family, and I'd like to say hi to my husband, who is out of town in Tallahassee at the moment. So thank you all.
Now that all 5 seats are filled, we can move on with some business. The second order of business is to elect a chairperson to serve for 1 year. At this time, I would like to call for nominations from the board.
I nominate Laura Zork.
I have Laura Zork.
I nominate Tiffany Justice.
I have Tiffany Justice. Are there any other nominations for chair? Seeing no other nominations, we will then take the nominations as they came. So all those in favor of Laura Zork serving as chair, please say aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Any opposed?
Yes.
Yes.
3-2. Mr. Gressa, do I need to do the second as well?
No, we have a new chairman of the school board.
Correct. So I'd like to congratulate Laura Zork as chair of the Indian River County School Board. Congratulations. So now it's time to seek nominations for a vice chair. Do I have any nominations for vice chair?
I nominate Tiffany Justice.
I have Tiffany Justice. Are there any other nominations for vice chair? Having no other nominations for vice chair, Ms. DeGressa, do we do unanimous acclamation? Or do we vote?
We may call for a vote.
We'll go ahead and call for a vote. All those in favor of Tiffany Justice being named vice chair of the school board, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'd like to congratulate Ms. Tiffany Justice on being elected as vice chair of the School Board of Indian River County. At this time, I will turn over the gavel to the newly appointed chair, and we will take a 5-minute recess to reseat the board. We recess for 5 minutes.
I'd like to convene this meeting at 5:20. At this time, I would call for citizen input, and at this time, we have one citizen that would like to speak at this time. So if we could have Liz Cannon, please come to the podium.
I figured it had to be me. Good evening. I would like to welcome our new school board members. It is rare that our school board changes so drastically with 3 brand-new members taking to the dais. This is an opportunity to build something from the ground up. As a teacher, I've always loved the idea that each year starts fresh with brand-new opportunities to build relationships. It seems for many years that the school board and the unions have been on opposite sides, never really having the opportunity to build the solid relationships that are needed to make our district the best it can be. When all is said and done, we are all in it for the same reason, to provide our students with the highest quality education possible. We may have different avenues with which to take, but through collaborative work, we can find our way to make Indian River the finest school district. I also want to take a moment to share a milestone that IRCEA just met. We have hit our highest membership total ever. We are very proud of this milestone because it says so much about our teachers and our union and the strength that we have. As representatives of nearly 70% of the teachers in Indian River County, we know that all of you will be willing to work together with us to make our district the best it can be. So we at IRCEA wish all of you, both new and veteran school board members, the best, and we look forward to a collaborative spirit in our future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So we have another citizen input, but that is for the business meeting. At this time, I would like to call for approval of regular meetings of the school board. Approval of business meeting dates and times. Present practice is to hold 2 monthly meetings. The meetings are held the second and fourth Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m. for the business portion of the meeting and at 4:30 p.m. for hearing officer review, only when necessary. The board is able to schedule meetings as it determines necessary. A list of specific meeting dates for December 2018 through November 2019 is attached. At this time, I would like to call a motion to establish the meeting dates and times.
Move approval. Second.
Okay. So at this time, do we need for discussion?
Yes, you can ask for any discussion there might be.
Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay, so, all in favor?
Aye.
So, aye. 5-0. All right. Approval of meeting place. The Joe Idolette Junior Teacher Education Center located at J.A. Thompson Administrative Center at 6500 57th Street, Vero Beach, Florida, 32967 is the meeting place unless public interest can best be served by meeting elsewhere. The room is the Joe N. Idolette Junior Teacher Education Center. I need a motion to establish the meeting place here.
Move approval.
I'll second.
Terry, or Mrs.
Ms.
Berenberg?
Berenberg, yes.
Sorry. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
5-0. Official appointments by the chairman. At this time, I believe everyone has had the opportunity to look over the list of the different committees. And so this might be the area that I need direction. So I just explained the committee and then take now.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, official appointments by the chairman. Indian River County Commission Metropolitan Planning Organization Committee member and alternate for this voting position. Do I have any members that are interested in this? No?
May I just offer at the beginning, I wouldn't mind being an alternate to someone, but Monday evenings and Wednesday evenings are very difficult since I've already committed elsewhere.
Just
So that
for,
might-
yep, this meeting actually takes place at 10 a.m. on Wednesdays, in the morning.
Yes.
I'm sorry, okay.
That's okay. Sometimes it changes, but Mondays and Wednesdays are slightly on the fence for me. But I wouldn't mind being an alternate for someone else.
And likewise, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are out for me, so I,
Okay.
Mrs. Zork, I'd be happy to serve on behalf of the school board.
Thank
Um,
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So we have Mrs. Justice as the voting member, and then Mrs. Rosario as the alternate. Let's see, moving on. Indian River County Commission Economic Development Committee member and alternate for this 4-year voting position. If it's I just have a question. If it's a 4-year voting position, Mrs. Diagresta, but we voted for it every year.
I can't speak to your
Okay.
committees that you serve on. I'm
Mrs. Zork,
sorry.
if I may. I actually, in review for this meeting and in previous meetings, I have reviewed some past years. And in 14 and 15, this was a 2-year position, and then somehow in 16 and 17, and now on this, it's become a 4-year position. It's my understanding that it does become before the board, because perhaps as you have been serving, and I'm happy if you'd like to continue to serve, I think the board would be supportive of that. I think it just does come up every year to give you an opportunity if perhaps you wanted to change, or if there was someone else that had a burning desire to serve in that capacity.
I appreciate that. Definitely being the chairman's different than past years when you don't have this little script to read. So is anyone interested in the economic development? At the current time, I do hold this position, and it is something that I would be interested in maintaining as the member, but I'm open if someone else if that's something that they would want to do. No?
That's a difficult time for me.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
you've served very well in that capacity.
Okay. Alternate?
I'll be an alternate. Thank you.
All right. So I will be the member, and then we have Mrs. Rosario as the alternate. All right, we're going to see Indian River County Planning and Zoning Commission with an alternate, 4-year non-voting position. Last year, Mr. Frost did serve, and then Mrs. Simchek was the alternate. So at this time, we need to find a new member.
I'd be willing.
Okay, thank you. An alternate,
I'll be an alternate.
okay. All right, so we have Mrs. Behrenberg as our member, and then Dr. Schiff as our alternate. Okay. City of Vero Beach Planning and Zoning Commission, non-voting position. Last year, I did serve, and I have served in this non-voting position for 2 years, and I'm more than happy if anyone else wants to do it. It's basically what you do is you keep an eye on the agenda that gets sent, and if you see something that's relevant to what the board needs to pay attention to, then you would attend that meeting. But you can attend every meeting also. No? All right. So it looks like Mrs. Zork is going to be the member. Okay. City of Sebastian Planning and Zoning Commission, 3-year term. Last year was Mrs. Simchek, so,
I'll do it.
okay.
I'll be the alternate.
I don't think we have alternates on these.
Oh, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
There's not on that one.
Okay. So we have Dr. Mara Schiff. Okay, we're going to go to City of Fellsmere Planning and Zoning Commission. This is a non-voting position. Last year, Mrs. Simchek did serve on this. So at this time, do we have any members interested?
I'll serve.
Okay. Okay. Okay, at this time, Mrs. Berenberg?
Aaron Borg.
Berenborg is our member. Okay, City of Indian River Shores Planning and Zoning Commission, 1 year, non-voting position. Last year, Mrs. Justice did serve. Are you interested?
Yes, ma'am, I would be happy to continue to serve on behalf of the School Board for Indian River Shores Planning and Zoning. It's my neck of the woods, so I'm
Thank you.
happy to.
Thank you. So we have Mrs. Justice for that position. Treasure Coast Council of Local Governments, and so last year, for the past 2 years, I have served on this committee. If anyone is interested in this, they meet down in Fort Pierce at the administration building at 10 a.m. once a month.
I would have very much enjoyed doing this. I actually do have a conflict, but I've heard it's a wonderful, I mean, maybe you could speak about your experience on it, because I've heard that it's really an interesting membership.
It is. It's interesting to have all the majority of the elected officials coming from Stewart to Fort Pierce and all the little cities getting together and just discussing what's important to their community. So it really is a good committee to attend and learn from. But do we have anyone interested? I think, how many did I count? Did I count 9 committees that we have? So that would mean at least 2 for each.
I can't do Wednesdays.
Right.
It's my teaching day next
Mhm.
semester. I have to be in
Okay.
Boca.
Okay.
I'm
All
teaching
right.
as well then.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, after this semester, I'm back to teaching Tuesdays.
All right.
But
Can we leave that one open at the time, Mrs. Diagresta?
Yes, ma'am, if you
Okay.
don't wish to appoint someone at
Till
the
we get
moment.
through and,
Absolutely.
okay. So we're gonna leave this one open at the moment. Okay, we're gonna move on to the Executive Roundtable Committee member for this voting position. I know last year and the year before, Mrs. Justice has served on this committee, and she has served us very well on this. Is this something that you would be interested in?
I'd very much like to continue serving in the Executive Roundtable. I've enjoyed expanding Kids at Hope throughout our schools and learning and training more in that, as well as a rail trail 5K in Fellsmere that is currently being planned that I'm on the committee, so I'd love to continue serving.
Oh, Mrs. Justice? All right. Okay, so at this time, we have board appointments. Approval of appointments of a citizen to the Indian River County Metropolitan Planning Organization County Citizen Advisory Committee for the transportation and alternate for this voting position. This is a volunteer position that began on September 11, 2012. The term of this position coincides with the board's organization meeting. The CAC meets the first Tuesday of the month at 2 p.m. in the conference room B1-501. The position was filled by our community member, Amy Speak, and the late John Kim was our alternate. Board members will submit names and vote both on the committee member and on the alternate to serve. So at this time, I don't believe we have any names for that, but that's something to keep in mind. And if you have anyone that you know that would be interested in being our community member to serve on that, is there an application? Mm-hmm.
Can we advertise for that? put it out there for people to apply?
We can. Or can we?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure. Sorry, my glasses just broke. Okay, so at this time, we don't have anyone for that. Approval of appointment of a citizen to the Indian River County School Planning Citizen Oversight Committee, interlocal agreement of public school planning for this voting position. Peter Robinson served on this committee since its inception in 2003. The purpose of the committee is to monitor implementation of the interlocal agreement and to report to the participating local governments, the school board, and the general public on the effectiveness with which the interlocal agreement is being implemented. The committee meets once per year on a date and time to be determined. Mr. Robinson submitted a yearly report and agreed to do an additional term. Board members will vote on this appointment. Okay, so do we have to vote right now on Mr. Robinson to be put on that? Okay. Anyone have any
I
questions?
think there's a call for the motion first, correct?
Okay, like to make anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. Sorry. For Mr. Robinson to continue.
Second.
Okay. Would you like to speak to your motion?
I think if he's willing to serve and the board members don't know another person that would be willing to serve and that would be capable of serving, I understand that he's done a good job, so let's keep it there.
Would you like to speak to your motion?
No.
No. Any other discussion? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Approval of appointment of a citizen to the County Commission Value Adjustment Board for this voting position. It looks like Mr. Heckman submitted a yearly report and is interested in serving for an additional term. At this time, if I could get a motion to keep.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Tiffany. All right. Would you like to speak to your motion?
No.
Yes, I'd just like to thank Mr. Heckman for serving in the past and continuing to serve the school district in this capacity.
Ditto.
Okay. I'd like to call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 5-0. Approval of appointment to County Commission Value Adjustment Board, 1 committee member and 1 alternate for the voting position. Last year, Mr. Searcy was reappointed, and Mrs. Simchek was reappointed as the alternate. At this time, I would like to ask for a board member that might be interested in this position. It is a voting position.
I'll be interested.
Okay. Do I have an alternate?
Sure, I'd be happy to serve as an
Thank
alternate
you.
for Mrs. Rosario.
All right. So I need a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, Mrs. Justice. All right. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Thank you.
No. All right. Any other discussion? No? Okay. So at this time, I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 5-0. Almost done. This is the long process here. Approval of appointment as school district board legislative liaison for this non-voting position. For the last 2 years, Mrs. Zork has served as this, and as chairman, I don't know if I would have the time to invest in it like I should, so I'm open to any.
Can you speak more about the role?
What we're gonna do as a board is we're gonna put together our legislative platform, and then what you do is you go and you speak with the representatives on the issues that we have identified, and you keep an eye on different bills that come up, or you actually can go out and seek legislators who might be interested in sponsoring a bill that aligns with some of our platform issues. So another interesting area that I worked on last year is we had applied for a grant through the state, and so I was able to go and speak to several people in Tallahassee and push for us to get that grant. So there's, it's not ever the same, but you really, whatever our legislative platform that we set as a school board is what you work on.
I think I have a conflict of interest on this, so I don't think I should be the person to represent the board.
Mrs. Justice would do it.
Just to clarify, oh, that's so nice of you. Thank you so much. Just to clarify on this in no way keeps any other board member to
Absolutely.
advocate. I think, as we've all learned, it takes all of us to advocate together for many of the different things and to grab your legislator's ear. It does require some travel to Tallahassee at times, so I don't know that is something that I am able to commit to right now. I am a mother of 4 young children, so I do take that into consideration in balance.
Okay. If not, it's okay. I don't want you to feel pressured.
I do, a
Okay.
little bit, but similarly, as a single mom of a kid and who has traveled for business, and I actually love the idea of the role in the legislating. I'm worried about the time and the travel,
Right.
given other commitments, and that's my
Right,
fear.
okay. Well,
'Cause I have business travel
right.
as well.
So like Mrs. Justice said, even though you're not the legislative liaison, you could definitely emails, phone calls. We're all encouraged to do that, so you can go ahead and do that. I would be honored to continue that, but I just wanted to make sure there wasn't any other member that wanted to take this on.
You're looking
Because
down here.
I know, because I think that you would also do a fantastic job.
I know, I want to be able to serve our board and keep that separate.
Right, and I agree.
I know it doesn't say it here, and it doesn't call for an alternate. Is that because it's designed that there can't be an alternate, or are we allowed to add one?
Perhaps Ms. D'Agresta could speak
Yeah.
to that. I think that alternates in general are for voting positions sometimes, because you would need to have someone there to vote in your set if
Got
you
it.
weren't able to make it, but.
That makes sense.
Mrs. Orr?
It's just the way it's been in the past, doesn't mean we have to keep it that way, so.
That's what
absolutely.
what I'm asking, yeah.
So, well, I would, if we don't have any other. Go
Can I
ahead.
ask you another question? In your experience in the past, can you talk a little bit about the time commitment on the work itself and the travel?
Let's see, the first year, I spent most of my time on the phone and emails and then visiting when our legislators were in town. But at the last minute, there was a special session called, so I did end up, so it just really depends on how the session's going. So at the last minute, I remember Governor Scott had called for everyone to come back, and at that time, I went up there for almost 3 or 4 days, I believe, to really push and lobby for, he was promoting extra funding to school districts, and we ended up getting extra funding, not just because of me, but because of a lot of different people were coming up there advocating for that. So, to say time, I think it really just depends what's going on at the time.
Mrs. Zork, may I? I think this position really is truly as much time as you can devote or give to it. One of the interesting things in kind of researching the past was that when we were, as a district, members of FSBA, they kind of facilitate the legislative liaison. In fact, in past agendas, it was written as the FSBA legislative liaison. They lobby together as a group for different things. I don't know which direction our school district will go as far as membership in that organization is concerned, but that certainly would add a level of support to the flow of information back and forth. So that's just something to think about going forward with this position. But it truly is something that I think you make of it what you can. With limited travel, because I don't know what the expectations on my family would be happy to take the lead in this. But again, I can't, because I do have 4 small children at home, it's difficult to make a commitment to be able to give as much as I would like to give to be able to travel in that way. So I see that we're having an issue as far as perhaps we could.
Yeah, you're making me think that if there is a way inside of Sunshine to share some of the work that gets done and doing the travel, to the extent that we're able in public, however that could work, to do it with someone else, I'd be happy to kind of try juggle that.
I think all discussions would have to happen within the meetings, which wouldn't necessarily be an issue, but I do think that there is, I think there is some room within this position to really push it to the next level. So, I think, and that might be a good idea. Perhaps we could maybe take some time to think about it, Mrs. Zork, and then come back to this at our next meeting, if that would be appropriate.
Absolutely, because
Would that be okay with you?
I mean, I am admittedly intrigued by the role and
Absolutely.
the opportunities it offers. I'm interested in what you said, Mrs. Justice, about FSBA support, and if we have an opportunity on that. So I'm intrigued, but I'm also overwhelmed.
right.
Absolutely.
So want to be careful about that.
Yep.
Well, I have a suggestion. We need to put together our legislative platform, and once we do that, maybe the interest might be greater. So why don't we just
hold off?
why don't we just hold off on this, and then the next meeting we'll work on our legislative platform, because we have to do it in the sunshine. So let's see. All right, so moving on to F, approval of appointment to the Moonshot Community Action Network for this non-voting position. Last year, Mrs. Justice did serve, and I believe the year before, and I believe Mrs. Justice had made a recommendation in one of our meetings about this, so if you would like to speak to that.
Absolutely. During discussion at our last business meeting, I did discuss a little bit the fact that the Moonshot Community Action Network and the Moonshots meetings that we have are really something that I feel like all 5 board members could benefit from being a part of in the future. I think it's something that as a community we have rallied around literacy, and the more information that we can get, the better as board members. So I wanted to see, this is something that had started when I had joined the board, and then I really feel like there's a benefit in all board members attending, and I wouldn't want an appointment to keep someone from doing that. I feel much the same way with the next item G when we get to that, because multiple board members from different boards do attend those meetings. So I just wanted to suggest that perhaps we remove those as singular appointments, and we welcome everyone to be in attendance, as we don't discuss items that would be on the action item agenda for a vote.
Do we need to give a motion to that?
I'd like to make a motion that we eliminate this from the appointment list on our for our organizational meeting.
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay. Okay. Would you like to, at this time, you made the motion, would you like to speak to your motion?
I think I've said enough.
I'd like to speak.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
When do they meet?
So it is the 3rd Wednesday of the month normally. They meet here in the Teacher Education Center. And I'm looking at Barbara Hammond in the audience just to double check. But it's normally the 3rd Wednesday in the morning. But it does sometimes vary. But Ms. Esplin always has the calendar. And the majority of the meetings do take place here in the TEC or at the United Way if the TEC wasn't available.
Okay, and I also know that there might be possibly some evening events. Would it be okay if more than one board member is there?
Absolutely. So it's my understanding, and Ms. DeAgresta can speak, these are public, open events that are noticed, and we can make sure that the school board, Ms. Esplin, our school board secretary, make sure that those meetings are posted. So I can definitely make sure that that happens.
Okay.
Yeah, can I add something? If I can add to that, I've been attending those meetings now all year, I think. I don't know when I started. But I have to say, and shout out to Ms. Hammond, they are some of the most interesting, best run, best coordinated, most productive meetings I've ever attended. I love them. So I'm really welcome the opportunity to continue participating, because the work itself of the organization is fabulous. And I've been in a lot of meetings in my life, and a lot of lousy ones. And these are really good, which is a lot to say about a meeting, gotta say. So,
Yeah, I would just like to add on to that, that I did attend the summit, and I was extremely impressed and wish that I could attend more Wednesday meetings. But if there are events in the evening, I would like to attend
Okay.
those or meetings. So
All
I
right,
just want to make sure that we
I just have a
can.
question for Mrs. DeAgresta.
Yes, ma'am.
To make sure that we follow Sunshine, any suggestions on this? Just, we need to make sure they're posted. Anything else?
And that individual board members do not speak amongst themselves regarding any issue that may be coming before the board for action or for further discussion. Social events that are held by this organization would not be considered a meeting, so you don't need to worry about the social event aspect of it. But again, my standard warning is please do not segregate yourselves away from the rest of the group and discuss as individuals any board members matters amongst yourselves.
Can I ask if it's not a celebration or party event, if it's a meeting that we decide to attend, and there are two of us there, that's okay?
Yes, as long as it's duly noticed
Okay.
here at the district.
and by duly noticed, the moonshot, those are on the calendar, so that counts as notice, right?
Ms. Esplin does
Yeah.
post
I know they're
the
posted,
meetings,
and
the
the-
monthly meetings, and that is on the monthly meetings. Yes, ma'am.
So as long as they're noticed, then it's not a.
Yes, ma'am.
So at this time, we should just pull this, and all board members are invited to attend and encouraged to participate.
You have a pending motion, Mrs.
Okay,
Zork.
so-
I second,
Okay.
I second.
Oh, so I-
I'd third if we could.
Okay, so call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 5-0. Okay, G, approval of appointment to the Central Florida Public School Board Coalition. This is a new committee that, or a group that we joined last year, and Mrs. Justice was appointed to that, and I would like to ask, at a couple of board meetings ago, Mrs. Justice did make a recommendation, and I truly agree with the recommendation that she had made. So would you like to speak to that?
Yeah, once again, this is another meeting. This is a group that we joined last year, Indian River County School District. This group collectively, other school districts, represents over 1 million students, which is really impressive. They meet right now at the Orange County Public Schools office. That may change as the chair of that group is changing. But again, just a great learning opportunity. Multiple board members from other districts attend as well. And I just think it's beneficial, you know, the more information we have, the better we can do our jobs, and it's a great opportunity for us to learn and grow as a school district.
So this is one of those meetings, Mrs. Justice, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
This is one of those meetings that you were just suggesting with regard to the moonshot, that we should also scratch from being an individual committee and we can all attend.
I would
If
move
available.
that we remove this appointment from the organizational meeting agenda and open it up for membership for all board members, Mrs. Zork.
Okay. Do I have a motion, or do
No, I'll
further
second.
discussion?
That
That
was
was
a
a
motion.
motion.
Second.
Okay. All right, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
5-0. Okay, so moving on, this information, staff appointments of Indian River County committees. So, let's see, attached is a list of staff appointments to the Indian River County committees that are required by law and approved by the superintendent for the 2017 calendar year. We have the Agnes Peoples Memorial Scholarship Committee And then the County School Board Planning Elected Officials Oversight Committee. Do,
No action is required.
okay, no action on that. I do have a question. If we would want to consider adding a committee back on, would we do that at this time?
Certainly, we can have that discussion,
Okay.
absolutely.
I do know that prior to 2 years ago, the School Health Advisory Committee, I believe it was, one of the board members was very involved in that, and that was one of the committees that we had someone that was appointed to that and represented the school board. Are any of you familiar with the School Health Advisory Committee? No? All right, so,
I'm a little familiar with the School Health Advisory Committee. We have a number of district staff that sit on that committee. And so a suggestion was made in the past that they could report back if there were any issues, because we did have significant representation from the district as a whole. Our director, I'm going to forget some names right now, I'm going to mispronounce some names, but I do know Food and Nutrition and our Health and Human Services are represented on that committee when they meet. Again, I think that's a meeting that anyone could attend, and there are minutes taken, so that would be I think various discussions have happened in that committee, from the Recreation Department talking about public space, public use of space, the Health Department, Miranda Hawkins, discussing things, different health concerns, making sure that school district staff are aware of any issues. I would not be adverse if you'd like to add that back on and ask if there would be representation. I think, Mrs. Zork, that's a lovely idea if that's what you'd like to do.
Is that currently publicly noticed? And could we add it like a moonshot thing, where it's publicly noticed and then anybody can attend?
absolutely, we could do that.
Or are we asking for a specific representative?
Well,
Is that
the
a
reason I brought it up was because over the past few months, I've been hearing that no one from the school board's interested in what we're doing because no one attends. And I just thought that we're very interested in what they're doing. And, you know, just having someone that might be interested to serve in that capacity, you know, it's open to it, but it's not something that we have to add at this time. I can bring back further information, and then we can look at if that's something that we want to do.
I think that's an excellent idea to bring back more information, Mrs. Zork, because perhaps there are things that are specifically discussed with regard to what's happening specifically in our schools that could come for a vote, or even code of conduct issues. So that may be something, that might be a good
Well,
idea.
I think also if we don't know when it meets, some of us have conflicts, so that's tricky.
Okay. So I will bring that back, and I guess at this time, if there's no further business, this meeting is adjourned at 5:58.